Hey everyone, my name is Penny Zanker, and it's time to reset. This podcast goes beyond just navigating change. It's about new ways of thinking about how you can approach challenges, how you can shift your mindset when needed, create some space and grace for yourself so that you can rethink, recharge, and reprioritize when and where needed. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Thank you for hitting play and sharing this next episode with me. It's time to reset. Hello and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zanker and I'm your host. And on this show, I'm looking to pick people's brains and find out how you can work smarter so that you don't have to work harder. That's the goal, and that can cross the gamut into a lot of different areas. Today, I'm excited. We're going to talk just how to reclaim your workday, which is the new book coming out from our guest and four-time author, Marcey Rader. I'm excited. She's an award-winning keynote speaker, trainer, coach, author, and she's focused on health-powered productivity after a preventable medical diagnosis that really shifted her relentless pursuit of more. She is the founder of Rader Co. She's inspired over 100,000 people across 5 continents as CSP, Certified Professional Speaker, Virtual Master Presenter, TEDx speaker. She helps individuals and companies to discover what truly matters, fostering sustainable habits to reclaim their workday, work well, and play more. I definitely want to play more.
Who doesn't? No, actually,
I know.
But I think it's hard for some people, especially super high achievers, to think about maybe on this long list of to-dos that I have, I actually need to have something that's playful and fun. And when I look out into my week and I have things planned, is there anything that I've planned that is actually just for fun? Surprisingly, there are a lot of people that don't have that play part on their to-do list. I was one of those people for probably 2 decades that I was like, wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That is something that I really try to plan into my week is what am I looking forward to? Even though I might be looking forward to some of my work things, what am I looking forward to? Especially now, it's Halloween time, right? Tomorrow night, I'm going out with some friends to some spooky, and it's fun. And I know we're going to probably have like s'mores by the fire or some hot chocolate. And it shifts your whole, I just feel just relaxed just talking about it, right? That you've got some of those joyful moments to look forward to.
Yeah. And sometimes with private coaching clients, I'll say, when was the last time that you did something fun? And they'll say, oh, my kid's soccer game, and it won't actually be, I'll say, do you have fun at those? And sometimes they say, yeah, it's fun. But it's really about their kid. I'm like, okay, right. So let's think about what was the last thing that you did just for you. And they have to sit there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So what got you, so we got a little preview in the introduction you had a nudge from the universe that said you better slow down and pay attention. What happened there and how did that change your direction?
Yeah, I had a few nudges. So I am a recovering perfectionist. And
me too.
Yeah, I felt the connection right away. And I was a master box checker. And for me, it was the volume of boxes being checked. And in my late 20s, throughout my 30s, I was an ultra endurance athlete and I competed in over 100 races. Never enough, just more and more, all the way up to 2-day adventure races. I traveled 48 weeks a year, never enough. I always felt when I get a promotion, I'll slow down. When I do this length of race, then I'll back off. When I reach this level of whatever it is, I'll spend more time with my husband. It was always something. And when I was 36 years old, I'm 50 now. When I was 36, I was told I was in menopause and like it was no big deal. Okay. And then when I was 39, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune thyroid disease. And at that point, I thought I probably triggered this thing. And with my lifestyle, it was very intense and high stress, self-induced stress.
Sure.
Myself all the time. And when I was 48, 2 years ago, I started having periods again. Of course, now I'm in perimenopause, so they're 6 months apart or whatever, but I actually was never in menopause. I had something called hypothalamic amenorrhea, and it's about 1.6 million American women have it. But it is basically where you stop having periods because your body is under so much stress. It
Hmm.
took me 12 years to recover from that. And it was not
Wow.
just physical stress, it was the mental, emotional stress that I put on myself. I did that. And so when I first started, I've had my company for 11 years. And when I first started it, it really was about getting shit done. And I was a master at it. And I loved working with people who wanted to do that. And my business model, my mindset, everything has shifted so much in the last decade to where it's really more about prioritizing what matters and health powered productivity, which is our tagline.
Hmm.
And what we mean by that is that it doesn't matter how many boxes you check off your to-do list if you're losing sleep to do it. It doesn't matter how many emails you answer if you're doing it at dinner with your family and you're sacrificing your relationship. All the boxes in the world don't matter if the end result is that it somehow affects your relationships, your health, and your well-being.
But wait, Marcy, isn't it okay if I had a million likes and I was able to read and respond to a million emails? Isn't that some accomplishment?
As long as you didn't sacrifice anything more important to do it, if that is your priority, if your priority is 1,000 likes and responding to every emails, and you weren't ignoring your family to do that, you didn't skip your workout or skip a meal or eat fast food while you're responding to the comments or something, then by all means.
But I want to say, of course, I'm being facetious, right?
Yes.
And you're absolutely spot on. And duh, I know it's like super basic, obvious, but it's something we all need to hear and remind ourselves because we get caught up in the minutia, the insignificant, right? And trying to do these things that really don't matter. And I'm not saying like sometimes there are things that we do need to do as part of our work or whatever, but there's so much insignificant stuff and just waste where we're not being smarter about the way that we're working. So never, ever inbox zero, in my opinion, just so it is not the goal. Productivity is not the goal, right? It's to get more income or to bring in, serve that client or, right? And so we need to stay connected to the actual goal, which
Yes.
is what's important, right? And because I just don't want people to think I have all these competing things. So like my client's important, yet my family's important, I'm important, and that is true. So what do you say to that item when they get to, okay, I'm not on the minutia, but I do have all of these different areas and priorities, right? Competing priorities today from my study is what they're showing is like their number one distraction and stressor. So how do
Yes.
you help people to do that? Do you have a special method to help people prioritize, especially in this new book that's coming out that is Reclaim Your Workday? I want to hear what you've got to share from that too.
Yes, I will have a. So first, I'll start with a question. So the question that I ask my clients is, first, what are your priorities? And they tell me no more than three. I don't allow them more than three. And then I ask, okay, if a journalist were following you around all day, writing a story about a day in the life of you, would they write that you are living what you say your priorities are? Or are your actions writing a different story? So if you say, oh, I'm prioritizing my sleep right now, my relationship with my spouse is a little rocky, so I'm prioritizing that, and I am working on the marketing for this next launch. And the journalist is following you around, and you're doom scrolling on your phone in bed at night, and staying up an extra hour, then you're actually not prioritizing your sleep. If you are choosing to work an extra 2 hours rather than just sit beside your spouse and watch Netflix at night, you're not prioritizing your spouse. If you are jacking around in your inbox instead of working on your launch plan, that journalist is, they're not going to write what you say your priorities are. And that question is actually one that helped me. And I still think about that quite regularly. And what makes it different, I think, with that question is if we are envisioning somebody standing here by our desk, then it's not just about us. It's about, and we need that accountability, even if that person is invisible, but it's that question that we're asking.
Yeah, it goes along also the question somebody once asked me, would you hire yourself?
Oh, that's a good question too.
You know, like the way you're working right now and what you're working on, how you prioritize, how you structure your work, all of that, how you're solving problems, would you hire yourself?
I love that question. Yeah,
feel free to borrow it.
Yeah. So the book that's coming out, I'm super excited because my other books have been all for personal productivity and health. And this one is actually for companies and organizations. And the way that I structured it is that I have a chapter on focus and attention, a chapter on email and chat, meetings, remote and hybrid work, vacation time off, and so on. And there are levels of behaviors. So so every chapter has up to 3 things that an individual contributor can do. Everybody can do these 3 things. And then I have a level for managers with 1 to 3 things that managers can do. And then there's a level at C-suite or business owner, because, that C-suite business owner, that's like spaceship view. That's like policy change across an organization. And they can do any of those things that the other levels can do. But an individual contributor may sometimes feel like that they only have so much control. You do, but you do have some control. And you can do these small things that will make you feel like that you have accomplished something rather than you get to the end of your day and I worked all day and I don't know what I did. So that's how I've set the book up. And I'm really excited about sharing that kind of format.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that what I see happening as a trend, as all of these transitions they used to be structured for us, right? Transitions, and or walls, right? We had walls and then the walls came down, and then now everybody can hear our conversation and we don't feel like we have any privacy. Our space is getting smaller. It's maybe we share it with someone else. So those types of things are happening. And then all of the transitions that we once had are also going away. So we would drive to the office. So we had that transition time to take a breath, to think about something else, to make that transition, or whether it was even walking from one room to another for the meeting. Now we just press a button and we're basically still standing here. The onus is getting put onto the individual, right? It used to be sort of part of our environment, and now it's really eroded. My question to you is, I feel that organizations could take more responsibilities to support and create some of those transitions that have gone away out of the environment to support people. Because let's face it, people are struggling, and part of why they're struggling is that the stress is compounding. They're not getting these critical transition times, and we're not good, I shouldn't say they, right? We're not good. I'm not good at setting these, right? Because they're somewhat setting boundaries. How can organizations do their part?
Yeah, you are so right about the transitions. And part of the issue is the always on culture, where we feel like we have to respond right away or always check our email, our Teams messages, or Slack. And one thing I tell managers and above is, if you choose to work during off hours, it does not matter how many times you say, if you get an email from me, don't worry about it. I don't expect you to respond.
Right.
If you are in a position of authority or hierarchy, people will feel compelled to respond. And if they know that their manager works at night or on the weekends, they will check just in case, right?
Hmm.
Just in case. And so it's so simple. Just schedule your emails, schedule your Teams messages, schedule your Slack messages. It's so easy. And that is something that can help save them from
From
themselves,
themselves, yes.
because it's just, if we, again, it's that hierarchy, but leaders have to model that behavior. And I'm just seeing that it's just not happening as much as I wish it would. And I'm going to give you another example. At a couple of companies, I talk about effective meetings, because Find Your Meeting Mojo is the name of our program. And I have done that many times. And there are a couple of companies that I have worked with specifically, and like as far as policy change. And the ones that abuse it are the leaders. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
then people just don't care. There was one of the companies, they stopped having meetings after noon, 12 o'clock on Fridays.
Hmm.
But the people highest in the company would schedule the meetings on that day because they said, I know everybody's available. And it just undermines all of the trust that your people will have in you. And that is an aspect of your power that you don't want to wield to where it undermines the trust.
Totally. Right. It's the senior leadership that doesn't create an agenda when they tell everybody else they should
Right.
have one.
Yes.
They show up late for meetings when they shouldn't, and it sets that they don't care, right? It is, even if it's a meeting that they created. So it's so true that you see it time and time again that they're not modeling the behavior that they want to see, and they're not modeling trustworthy, trust-inducing behaviors. So I think the first thing is just to get some real clear awareness there, right? As to how their behaviors are impacting the team, the collaboration, the engagement levels, and so forth.
Yeah. And that will help with that transition too. If a person feels like I can shut my laptop down and be done, then that can help with that transition to, okay, now I have my personal life.
Yeah.
And that would be like the easiest, smallest thing. But the other thing is that I'm always saying, please don't take your company to bed with you. Please don't wake up with your manager. Don't go to bed with them. When you are looking at your email in bed, you are sleeping with your team. You're sleeping
Right.
with your colleagues. When
It's a good
you
way to put it. It's a good way to put it, right? Because
yeah,
that
whenever
gives you this like shudder.
yes, when I'm speaking on stage and I talk about going to bed with your company or team, and people will like visibly, like y'all hear them gasp. And I say, good, I want you to have this visual, because that's like you're taking your company to bed with you, like your most sacred space.
I say there's a purpose for the bedroom, and it is not to check your emails
Oh,
or even watch TV. There's another purpose. There's sleeping, there's your connection with your partner. Those are the things for the bedroom, not those other things that should be in the living room or in your office or wherever, right?
yeah.
Give each room a purpose and then leave that purpose there.
Yes. I
Um,
say speaking, sexy time, bed business, or maybe reading, but it depends if it's like on your device or like a real book.
Right. So coming back to transitions, there's some other companies that are doing some great things to help people with these transitions. You hear some companies, they know people are coming into the meeting and they're frazzled because they just came from another one. So they're taking a minute to do deep breathing to bring everybody and make them present. Or why are we still having 60-minute back-to-back meetings? Why? Right?
Amen.
Make your meetings 45-minute meetings, give everybody that 15 minutes back to actually make a transition, to check their email, to go to the bathroom, to get a glass of water, right? And be ready for the next meeting. And then you don't have a problem where people are late because the other meeting went over.
Yes. Penny,
So,
I had a woman private message me in the chat once when I was giving a virtual presentation on meetings. And she said she almost peed her pants in her own house because she had so many meetings. And she was like, I could feel her just like embarrassment, but she meant it.
Oh, I get it.
You should never. And so I always say the same thing. There's nothing magical about 60 minutes. It's just the default that Outlook put on
Right.
your calendar. Yeah.
So we've got to change those things. So
Yeah.
we're coming to the end of our session. So what didn't I ask you that you feel like you really wanted to share today?
What didn't you ask me? First, I just have to say, I feel like we're on the same page and we could probably shout out to the rooftops together. It's more of a statement.
Okay.
Cognitive dissonance. We all have it, and in some form or another about certain things. And when a company or a leader feels like it can't be done or it's not going to work, asking yourself, is this just my bias? And I hear this the most when I am doing any kind of program around remote work, where leadership will talk about how people are not as productive at home, where research has shown that's actually not the case. And that people that are more productive in the office, it tends to be actually a smaller number of people, but also what tends to happen is they will give me an example of one or two people. And please don't let your bias and what happened with these one or two people affect your entire policy for remote or hybrid work.
I totally agree. I think it's not just a bias, in my opinion, in my experience, is that leaders feel like they're losing control.
Mm-hmm.
And they are command and control type of leaders. And that just doesn't work anymore. We are in a very different environment than we have ever been in, with every generation in the workplace at the same time. And I think people just have to take a hard look in the mirror. What is the real reason why you want people to come back to work? Is because you don't trust them, you don't think that they're working. And then why'd you hire them?
Exactly.
And if you don't trust them, then you're not going to trust them in the office either. If you think they're not going to work at home, they're not going to work in the office either. There's plenty of people who are in the office not working.
You can be buying stuff on Amazon
Totally.
in the office, just like you can be at
Totally. Or they're on swiping on Tinder or whatever. If they're doing something that's not work, but also trust people if they need a break and they need to take a walk or they need to watch a cat video or something because they're overloaded or just need a break. We have to give people the flexibility, give them the right goals and the milestones that they're there to reach, and then measure their performance based on what they deliver. Don't stand over them and be that micromanager, because you're just going to kill your engagement in your organization. That type of leadership will kill engagement. And that's why we have, from what Gallup says, 70+% of people who are disengaged, right? It's because they don't want to be micromanaged.
Yes. Yep. Agree with it all. Agree with you 100%.
So where can people find out more information about you and the new book coming out?
Yes. The website is helloraderco.com, HELORADERCO.com. And the website for the book will be reclaimyourworkday.com, hoping to launch mid-January.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Penny.
And thank you all for being here. There you have it. You got some concrete tips today, some things that you can do at any level, wherever you are in the organization. There's something that you can do that you have control over. So here's my suggestion to you. Do it. We can talk about it, but at the end of the day, as you are winding down and shutting down this episode, decide what's that one thing that you're going to do that's going to help you focus on what matters most, and that's going to help you just achieve those goals that you're looking to achieve, whether it's at work, at home, in your leadership, wherever it is. That's where we leave you today. So thank you all for being here. My name is Penny Zanker, and this is Take Back Time. Hey, thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot. If you're feeling a little off, distracted, overwhelmed, stuck, or just out of sync, remember that's your signal to reset. And that's all it takes, just recognizing one reset moment at a time. So stay tuned for more tips, tools, tricks, stories, strategies, all here on time to reset. We'll see you in the next episode.